So this might seem a little far-fetched, but I think you can make a connection between part of the Marvel universe and the Bible. Might not make sense, but I want to talk about that today in the Family Chat with Matt. So let's go. So I was watching the movie The Avengers the other day. And I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it's basically about this team of superheroes that has to save the world from an alien invasion. And one of the bad guys in the movie, Loki, he uses the power from this cube to create division in the team. They all start getting angry with each other and arguing, and it kind of breaks them down and separates them. You know, it's interesting because what his goal was to make them weaker. See, together they were strong. Together they were unbeatable. But if they were separated, they wouldn't be as strong. They would be weak and they would be vulnerable. Well, what's cool is that the Bible actually talks about this thing exactly. See, Ecclesiastes 4:12 says, "A person standing alone can be attacked and defeated, but two can stand back to back and conquer. Three are even better, for a triple braided cord is not easily broken." I love that picture of the triple braided cord because when that cord is pulled, it just gets tighter and tighter, and the bond gets stronger and stronger. Well, Jesus also kind of talked about this a little bit, and he was accused of having power from Satan to exorcise the demons, Satan's demons, from people. And when he was accused of this, Jesus said in Mark 3:24 and 25, he says, "If a kingdom is divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if the house is divided against itself, that house will not be able to stand." See, if there's division among a group, it's going to fall apart, and that is where destruction happens. Well, last week we spoke about the family, and we spoke about how it's a picture of God's family and how that's where God wants us to start our ministry, and that's where the strength really comes from. That if we have Jesus at the center of our family, we are strong together. And it makes sense then that that's exactly where Satan would attack. He tries to attack us in our family and cause division. In John 10:10, Jesus is speaking about Satan, and he says, "The thief's purpose is to steal, kill, and destroy. But my purpose is to give them a rich and satisfying life." You see the opposite there. Jesus wants to give us life, and Satan wants to kill. See, he wants to try to divide our family. He wants to get us to start fighting and arguing, to be competitive with each other, to be jealous of each other, to have anger and hurt. Does that sound like a healthy family? Does that maybe sound like your home? I mean, it's so easy for hurt to come in. It's so easy for us to screw up and to end up fighting and allow that hurt to create division in our own home. See, sin is easy. Sin is an easy thing to do. We don't even have to choose to sin, and we can sin. It's kind of like a virus, almost like the Rona. We all have had to deal with it this year, and if we choose not to deal with it, if we choose to ignore it, if we choose to do nothing, it's likely that we're going to get sick. It's likely that we're going to be impacted by it. See, it takes effort. It takes strength. It takes time. It takes energy to choose to fight it. And sin and anger and division is like that. We have to choose to fight sin. So where does that start? Where does that fight start? See, it starts with love. I think sometimes we just feel like, hey, we're a family, and love is just part of it. Love's just part of our family because that's who we are, right? We're supposed to love each other. But the interesting thing is that love is a choice. See, why did Jesus teach us about loving God and loving neighbors and loving enemies? It's because we actually have to put out an effort to choose to love. Especially if you have been hurt. Sometimes it doesn't come easy. See, Ephesians 4:29 says, "Don't use foul or abusive language. Let everything you say be good and helpful, so that your words will be an encouragement to those who hear them." See, we need to choose to love in our words. You know that old saying, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me"? It's a lie. It's not true. The words might not be able to be seen physically. We might not have a physical pain, but there's deep wounds that come from words. There's deep hurt. And the interesting thing is that negative words are more impactful than positive words. See, think about shopping online. See, we look at reviews for products, and if your product has 12 reviews and 2 or 3 of those are negative, you're probably not going to order it. It doesn't matter that it has a bunch of positive ones, because we move away from the negativity. We move away from the things that we don't think are good. And then it creates division. And that happens in your family when you use negativity toward each other. See, but words alone don't mean anything. Words alone are lost. We need to choose to love in our actions. 1 John 3:18 says, "Dear children, let's not merely say that we love each other. Let's show the truth by our actions." Again, we need to choose to love in our actions. See, words are great, but without action, they don't mean anything. We need to choose to keep our promises to each other. We need to choose to serve each other, to put others first, to put our family's needs ahead of our own, even in the little things and in the big things. See, if you don't have deeds along with your words, pretty soon we start feeling that hurt, and there's cracks, and Satan will use those cracks to divide us. You might be thinking, what if Satan's already gotten a foothold in my house? What if my house is already filled with anger? What if my house is already divided? I feel like I've already lost the battle. Well, all hope is not lost for your family. All hope is not lost for you. See, God calls us to love each other like He loves us. God calls us to love each other in the same way, in that unlimited level of love. And part of that is forgiveness. That's right where it starts. In Ephesians 4:31 and through 32, it says, "Get rid of all bitterness, rage, anger, harsh words, and slander, as well as all the types of evil behavior. Instead, be kind to each other, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, just as God, through Christ, has forgiven you." Just as God, through Christ, has forgiven you. Choose to love through forgiveness. See, all that hurt, it can be healed by forgiveness. And we all screw up. We all hurt. We all hurt the people that we love the most. We should have forgiveness the same way we would want to be forgiven. But it's not always just a one-time thing. It's not this, "Oh, I forgive you," and it's done and we're all great. No, sometimes it can be a repetitive thing. In Matthew 8:21, Peter comes to Jesus and it says, "Then Peter approached him and asked, 'Lord, how many times must I forgive my brother or sister who sins against me? As many as 7 times?' And Jesus says, 'I tell you, not as many as 7, but 70 times 7. What I love about this is that Jesus doesn't say, oh, if he sins against you 70 times 7, you forgive him 70 times 7. No, what Jesus says is if he sins against you, forgive him 70 times 7. So many times that you lose count. But he doesn't clarify that it's multiple sins. See, sometimes it could be every day. We wake up and we feel that hurt, and we have to choose to forgive over and over and over and over again. If you're having trouble forgiving somebody in your life, if you're having trouble taking that step, I suggest you reach out to the church, because we do have several resources that can help you with that forgiveness. See, Satan's goal is to divide us, but love is a choice. And today, I encourage you to choose words of love and actions of love. Let healing start today in your home. Choose to forgive in love. And let's protect our families and be united in the love of Christ.